In the rich and diverse forests of Cambodia, these macaque monkeys live in close family groups, living highly social and active lives. There is, however, a dark side to this seemingly idyllic scene for Cambodia's long-tailed macaque populations. Every year, thousands of monkeys like these are exported around the world, where they will suffer and die in research laboratories. An investigation carried out by the BUAV has exposed not only the cruelty and suffering involved in this miserable trade, but also the inadequate implementation of regulations safeguarding the trade in endangered species. This is a brutal trade that deals in animal misery and creates a lifetime of suffering. Our investigators joined a group of trappers on a week-long trip deep into the jungles and forest reserves to catch primates for the burgeoning primate breeding industry in Cambodia. Macaques are considered endangered and are listed as Appendix 2 under the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species, known as CITES. The trade in macaques is supposed to be strictly regulated. Trapping causes immense suffering and stress to these highly intelligent and sensitive animals. A trapper spotted a monkey in the trees. Trappers cut down trees in order to isolate monkeys on a single branch. A net was submerged in the water on one open side of the trees. The trappers banged on the trees with paddles to encourage the frightened monkey to flee. The exhausted monkey jumped into the net and was pounced upon by a trapper. The monkey was then placed in a plastic mesh bag and concealed under the floorboards of the canoe. The trappers continued their grim search. An adult mother and baby macaque were found. The mother and baby jumped into the submerged net before being plucked out by a trapper. They too were bagged up and put on separate boats and placed under the floorboards. They were occasionally brought out from under the floorboards to be washed and fed, to ensure that they would survive the trip and could be sold into the primate trade. This poor baby macaque pitifully cried out for his mother. We are told that the trappers received between $15 for the baby to $125 for the mother. Across the globe, thousands of monkeys are used in painful and unnecessary experiments every year. To meet the demand, countries like Cambodia have allowed its indigenous population of long-tailed macaques to be ruthlessly exploited. Our investigators managed to film in a large breeding farm owned by Vanni Bioresearch. We obtained a CITES permit that showed primates from this farm were destined for the UK. Other documentation shows primates from this and other farms in Cambodia have been shipped to France, China, and the USA. Our investigations uncovered a factory farm for monkeys, geared solely towards supplying the maximum number of macaques as cheaply as possible. These barren facilities failed to meet the complex behavioral and psychological needs of primates. With this unnatural environment, little or no enrichment, and no opportunity to hide, such conditions would be extremely stressful for these young animals. In the wild, macaques live in and rely on stable social groups, and their days would be spent roaming across large tracts of land and foraging for food. In these cages, filmed at the breeding farm, this natural behavior is denied to them. Instead, they are forced to live under stressful conditions on small, barren, metal-grated or concrete floors. These group pens were essentially devoid of enrichment. VANI Bioresearch seems to have disregarded international guidelines on conditions for captive primates. Breeding farms, such as the one owned by VANI Bioresearch, are the starting point for a life of confinement, misery, and exploitation for these intelligent, sensitive animals. Please help the BUAV end this brutal trade by sending a donation or becoming a campaigner. Together, we can make a difference.